We're here. We made it.
We did. You scared me. I'm like, is she gonna get on? Is she gonna have problems?
It would not. It would not let me. It would not let me do it through the link. It was like something's blocking you, so you're gonna have to go through the website. And I was like, all right, fine.
Oh, because you're using your phone. Yeah. So it's StreamYard, for some reason, it wants you to like copy it and then paste it into like Safari or something. It won't just one click it. It's a pain in the butt.
There we go. That's
How you living this morning? How you feeling? How's life? How are you?
Life is good. Life is good.
The eyebrows are good.
Yeah, things are looking up.
I like love how they're fading though. Like,
yeah, I have to go back. I have to go back in 3 more weeks and get a touch up. So they do it. They let it fade out. You know, because you put the like Vaseline or whatever on it, and then like I noticed the 3rd day, I got really close to the mirror and I was like, oh, my skin's coming off. So I had to like kind of like lightly exfoliate, not like deep exfoliate.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, they're so faded. And I was like, oh wait, I got to go back. I'm fine. No big deal. Cause I'm super OCD. So I was like, I'm like measuring.
That's why I'm scared to get them, because I feel like I would see like one little hair and be like,
she did good. I used the TikTok eyebrow filter thing and it was on point.
One mom is already drinking. So we got that.
Damn, am I late?
I'm considering it. I got a kiddo though. Last night when we were on the podcast, I had to keep dipping out of Freedom Fam. Elise has the flu. She's home with the flu. She yacked every hour on the hour last night. We were up until about 4:30 this morning. And then I get everything figured out. I get my son in the car and I'm like, all right, you got to go to school. Like, you're not sick. You have no fever. You're good to go. You haven't been around. Yeah. You guys don't like, you guys are right. So we go to get in the car and this little shit is getting in the car and sticks his hand up in the door frame. And I'm in a rush and I'm like, get in the car, let's go. And I shut my car door and all I hear is, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be effing kidding me. Like, I thought his hand was broke. I'm like, we're done. We're going to be in the ER. We're going to be here. No, he was.
That happened.
5 minutes later, everything was gone. And he's like, the mark's gone. And I was like, don't tell anybody at school, buddy. But I think you've been watching so much Spider-Man that like, you know how to heal yourself now.
You want to watch the monkey show. Okay. Speaking of children and fingers and doors.
Speaking of children.
My son, when he was probably like 1, and one of my daughter's therapists was leaving and she was trying to shut the door. And I'm cooking in the kitchen. My daughter's at the table and he's like, bye, bye, bye. And then all of a sudden I hear screaming and I look over around the corner and she's like trying to shut the door and his fingers are in the backside. Yes. And I'm like, stop.
I've had it happen to me though.
Fingers and doors are like my biggest thing. I'm always like, fingers. People think I'm crazy. Like I have Tourette's. I'm just yelling fingers all the time. Everywhere I go.
I'm like that, but I was just like, I was pressed. Like, let's just all say it was like an odd morning this morning. Yeah, like there's a weird vibe going on this morning.
Well, it's like if you wake up and get out of bed and you stub your toe, you know the rest of the day.
It's fucked.
You know what I do? I lay back down. I close my eyes and then I get back up and I pretend like I started over.
That's what
I'm telling you, it worked.
That's what I'm doing after the show. I got a sick kid anyways. I was like, girl, me and you, we're going to go get in bed. We're going to watch The Office. Yep. We're going to fall back.
Oh, good choice.
Always. It's always my go-to.
That or Parks and Rec. Those are like my 2 go-to.
Yes.
My God.
But now my daughter's obsessed with like backyard home renovation shows.
Oh
yeah, like that's her jam. That and then Reba.
We're gonna have to have like a slumber party with like candy and popcorn and like binge watch this because I can get down with that. I'm gonna go pop this in the Xbox.
You go.
One momento.
Yep, you do that. We got 3 boys, 1 mom, still drinking already. What else we got in here? Who else we got in here? We got Amber, we got Bree, we got Freedom Fam, we got Just Good Life. Hello, all you beautiful human beings. Oh, there he is. There he is. There's Tex. So we're gonna wait for Brett to go do some mom things because we're just okay with that over here on our show. We let moms mom because it's the middle of the day. But now I have to sit here and awkwardly fill the silence and I don't know what to talk about. Why wasn't Brett ready for this podcast? I do. She's a mom. She's got to go put the monkey movie in, Tex. There's Cats. Cats
and of course the Xbox is like, hey, it's time for an update. Like, I know you're busy, but do you mind if I just can update for like 20 or 30 minutes?
This is like my all-time human that I want to meet from TikTok, off TikTok, is Cats Meow.
Cats Meow? Oh, for sure.
I just like, I want to feel her vibe in real life.
This is like mommy, like every mommy example. Like, let me just.
Tex said that I need to find a better guest because you're just leaving in the middle and just walking around.
Me? Yeah. This is what you get. I'm me 100% of the time, every day.
All right, Britt. So, what's going on in your world?
Right now,
going and like I want besides your eyebrows.
Besides the eyebrows, which is huge.
I mean, it's a huge thing. No one can. I mean, what are people going to say about you now?
That's my whole entire life has changed. My whole entire life has changed. People open doors for me. I mean, they've always opened doors for me, but now they're opening doors for me with eyebrows. So there's a difference. You know what I'm saying?
There is. Do you feel like you get your point across better, like when you like look serious or go to like pop one? Can you pop one eyebrow up? Do you have that? You do. Oh, it's fierce now. Look at it.
It's like the people eyebrow.
Yeah, that's what we call it, the conservative eyebrow.
Mm-hmm. Can you smell? No, just kidding. Anyways, oh God, 90s kid coming out. So yeah, things have been kind of good. Like, we got my daughter out of the school that she was in. I decided that I'm not going to fight them right now. I'm going to pick my battles. Right now, what's most important is getting her settled. This is the most crucial time for her to be getting these interventions, getting in school, doing all these things. So I needed to shift my focus and say, this is where I'm needed the most. So this is what I'm going to focus on. So now we have her at all of her therapies outside of school, therapies in the school. She's going to be in that school for the remainder of this school year and next school year for pre-K4. Then I will have another battle when it comes to kindergarten. So I'm kind of like preparing for that. And I will do a lot of that preparation this summer and next school year, finding out, because basically where we live is we live in the city. We're out in the country, but we're in the city limits.
City limits.
So I'm trying to get her into the county school, but because I live within the city limit by like a mile, she has to go to a city school. Well, because I've had already experienced issues with her services in this particular school where I've had to remove her, I'm not sending her back to that school in kindergarten. So basically, I'm going to try to get her into the county school. If they will allow me to do that while living within the city limit, then we're fine. If not, I'm moving.
That's what we did. I actually had an IEP yesterday.
Oh, really? It's like, so much fun, let me tell you.
God. So I'm sitting in the parking lot and I'm like, giving myself the pep talk, like, who's the boss? You're the boss. Whose kid is it? Is your kid. Because every other school that they've been in, like, it's just a struggle with the IEPs. Like, they're very poorly done. They don't really care. Brett,
Yeah.
I walked into this IEP. Everybody was there. They actually all came. All of them. All of them came. And they
I would have
provided,
had a panic attack. I'd have been
they
like, okay.
provided an advocate for me. For me. An outside advocate came
Yeah.
in for me. And then we all sat around a circle. And then they had a big TV up on the wall, picture of her, all her whole story, where she's struggling, all of her test results. And then we all actually talked together on different aids to help her. Now, look, like we're supposed to be like, we have plans to move to Texas. And I want to move to Texas, but I'm telling you, like, I'm internally struggling with that now because, like, I've never seen a school wrap around and like this is incredible. I've never seen this kind of support, and they bumped her up, and I was like, well, don't we have to like go through insurance? And they're like, let us deal with that. We'll get it. She needs this. She's getting it, and they started it immediately.
That's freaking awesome. That's awesome because I'll tell you, like,
area. I'm in a rural area now. I'm nowhere near the city anymore. Like we were more towards like city limits where we were before too. But
Right.
now we're in a much smaller county. I'm back in the county that I grew up in.
Good.
Population isn't that high. And
Yeah.
just to see the difference. But like I'm not saying
They
like,
can shift they can put their focus where it's important more with smaller towns.
yeah. So like honestly, when it comes to like putting her in school, the furthest away from like city schools that you can get her, the better. Just because and it's not necessarily like I'm not blaming the school, but they also have way more kids. They have way, and then they're trying to stretch all that money and make it go everywhere, and they don't want to do the paperwork, and they don't want to do.
We're a small, pretty low budget city. Mm-hmm. So the school is very, very tiny. They don't have like many resources.
Right.
So for me, it was like, well, I'll provide them for you.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't allow it. So, okay, fine. I'll just go somewhere else then, take my purse and walked out, you know, like.
Because she's in that critical age. Like it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
and the thing about it is like the transition, like from what I was going through with her every single morning, trying to get her to go to school, it was a battle. She did not want to go. It was like literally like falling down in the parking lot. Like, nah, I don't want to go. Screaming, crying, kicking, tantruming. Like, it was very, very bad. It was very bad. And then to see her now, that child, I'm like, stop. Don't, there's cars coming. Like, she's literally running in the doors. Like, I can't keep up with her. Mm-hmm. And she has no problem with the routine. And she's there for 6 hours. She was at the other school for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Something's like not like clicking. You know what I mean? So
I think a lot of it is.
I'm not sending her back to that school. It's not happening.
Gonna do something that like twist it however anyone wants, but like I don't like when certain things start becoming like trendy, or when we start throwing around diagnoses left and right. And doctors are very guilty of this. They'll throw around ADHD like it's going out of style.
Oh, yeah.
And like, for those of you who are watching that may or may not know, Britt and I both have daughters who are on the autism spectrum.
Yes.
And Elise loves it. Like, she's full-blown school now. At the other school, she wasn't as much, I don't think. They also didn't do a lot with like bullying. Like, Elise was getting bullied horrifically at her.
We have not gotten to that stage yet. Like, that's like my biggest fear, because I am the loud mom. So I will be the one in the hallway, banging on doors, getting answers. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Tex has been on the phone with me when I've
chased. I'm thinking about that stage.
I chased a bus driver down over it. I was on FaceTime, I think, with Tex and Gatro, and I was like, "Sorry, guys," like, and I got.
You're giving me anxiety. No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that stage, because I'm telling you, I will call a parent. I will have a sit down with a parent. Like, I am not above. No. No. And that's the thing, is like, I've seen so many horror videos of like teachers too. And that scares me. Like, I've seen the horror stories about teachers too. Yeah. Like, you see these little cams where these teachers are abusing the kids and like slapping them in the face, or like saying horrible things to them. Mm-hmm. It's terrifying. And so, like, for me as a parent, like, when you're buying a home and you're picking like your place that you want to raise your kids and like stay for many, many years, the one like you can compromise on something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, it's not fenced in the backyard, but no big deal. Or it doesn't have a basement, big deal. But like schools, to me, that's non-negotiable. That is non-negotiable. And see, before we moved here, Zayla didn't have her diagnosis yet. So it's like we had no idea. So like we just found like a good school that had like good grades. We didn't look into like special needs programs and things like that. So about 5 months after we had been here, then we found out. Like we had always kind of known, but we weren't for sure.
How old was she when they were able to like her?
So we knew at 9 months that she was not on track with her milestones. Like we noticed at 9 months she was not on. That's when we actually saw a regression. Like it wasn't like, oh, she's not there yet. It was, well, she used to, but she doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So then I was kind of like questioning things, and then her sleep issues started, and then probably around the time she should have been walking, and she was still like cruising, which is where they hold stuff and walk. They call it cruising, but she was doing that on her tippy toes. And the hand flashed. And that's when I was like, okay. Okay, we might need to talk to the doctor. So we did the...
Alex was the same. It was like the sleep stuff. And
well,
then
the stuff was right away. The sleep stuff was right away. Yeah, she went from like an awesome sleeper to waking up at like, I would put her down at like 7 or 8, and she would wake up at 10 and she'd be up till 6 and sleep till 7 and then be up all day. And I was like, they're supposed to start sleeping more at this stage. Like what's going on? So, and then it was like the food. It was the food thing too. Like she always had like an oral fixation with things. The eye contact was gone. Responding to her name, gone. Like it was like little small things. And like, so at 18 months when we did her wellness checkup,
Allie never lost eye contact. That is one thing that like
hers was, see, my daughter's was bad. It was so bad. Like you would hold her face and her eyes would go like this.
Yeah.
Like she would, it was like she was refusing to look at you. And I was like, and that's when her dad was like, something doesn't feel right. Like she doesn't want to look at us. Like, are we bad parents? Like, does she not love us? Like, what's going on? Like, he didn't understand. So it was like, it was a lot. And then at 18 months, they did the pediatrician we had actually used to work for kids with autism, like in their pediatric center, like the autism centers and stuff. And she had formed a milestone checklist at 18 months that was specific for like major things to look for autism. And my daughter hit every single one of them. Every single one of them.
See, Allie's the talking, not the eye contact. It was the talking. She didn't want to talk to you. And I thought I was never, ever going to hear her say mom. I was like, she's never going to talk. She's never going to talk. And then we left speech therapy one day and she was like, Elmo. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, she didn't talk. See, Zayla didn't talk either. She was, at 5 months, she said mama. And then, like I said, at like 8 or 9 months, it was mama, dada, puppy, bubble, like things like that. And then it was nothing. And it was nothing but grunts and whines.
And points. For 2 years.
And she didn't do pointing. She didn't have the pointing either. It was just frustration and crying and hand flopping. And so I literally, it was like, trial and error. Do you want this? Do you want this? No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. This. Pick up. Down. Here. Sleep. Change. Bath. This. Too hot. Too cold. Like I went crazy because I didn't know how to communicate with her, and she didn't understand me either. So yeah. So she got diagnosed at 21 months, and then immediately, like they told us we were going to be on the waiting list for a year for anything. We went ahead, we got on the waiting list, and 3 months later, she was in ABA.
Yeah.
like
APA is
instant.
incredible. We did early intervention with Elise too. Like they were seeing things at the pediatrician's office, and I'm like, it's her speech. Like, why is she deaf? Like, is she hard of hearing? Is she deaf? Like, why is she?
We did the hearing test, everything too. Yeah.
And they were like, mm-mm. But what made me mad was they gave her an MRI, and they said, her MRI is good. There's just one little thing in there. And the way that they explained it to me, it sounded like it was nothing. They're like, the back part of her brain it goes down a little bit longer than what we would like, but this isn't something that's going to get worse. It's not what's causing this. And I'm like, okay. Well, fast forward all the way until 2 years ago, she started getting like chronic migraines too. And I'm like, this is enough to the neurologist. And the neurologist that we saw at Children's Hospital pretty much said the same thing and was like, yeah, it's there, but it's like 4 millimeters, maybe 5 millimeters. And we don't really do anything for it. But something told me like, this isn't okay. And I found a specialist out in Detroit who specializes in it. And it's called Chiari malformation. When they did her brain surgery, once they were in, they came out halfway through and they were like, okay, we're almost done. We're getting ready to close her up. But this is the part where we come out and explain to you what we found. It was 15 millimeters and it was starting to tether around her spinal cord.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, she would fall all the time. And I'm like, look, I know that this has a lot to do with being on the spectrum, that her balance and this, but like, it's getting worse. And then it was like so hard. It was that they didn't want to diagnose her with autism. And then once they diagnosed her with autism, all of her problems were autism and none of them could be anything else.
And I don't like that either, because it's not like there's other things. Everybody says, well, autism is a spectrum, so it covers everything, but it really doesn't. Like there are other actual medical conditions that these kids go through. Like my daughter has severe gut issues. And she has really bad balance. We have her in physical therapy right now because I assumed it was because of her tiptoe walking. When you're walking forward all the time, you know?
She still tiptoe walks.
But she doesn't tiptoe walk because so they checked her Achilles tendon and they said it wasn't that. She's doing it subconsciously.
Yeah.
So we got her in physical therapy and she's doing really great. But physical therapy said it's not her tiptoeing that's making her fall, it's her hip.
Yeah.
And it's from sitting in the W formation.
Mm-hmm.
Because she loves to sit that way. It was comfortable. And if you would move her from that, she would cry.
Yeah.
So it messed with her hip growth. So now she's working on that. And so I'm hoping that her walking and her balance will get better, because she wasn't able to walk upstairs without a handle or being carried. It was very difficult. So, that's pretty much what I do a majority of my focus on is getting all of her things taken care of, getting her to her appointments, her therapy sessions, her in-home sessions, not to mention having a soon-to-be 3-year-old son who is ruthless.
It's the boys. The boys, man.
This child had me in the pediatrician's office because he swore for 2 weeks that he had a ladybug in his nose. A ladybug. And people, don't get me wrong, I don't want people oh my God, for 2 weeks your son told you this and you just ignore him and didn't take him to the doctor.
You're going to whether you
Watch it, Becky. Watch it, Becky. Okay. Listen, my son came up to me one day laughing, saying that he had a spider in his nose. And I'm like, no, you don't. And then he said it was an ant, and then he said it was a ladybug. It was a joke. Okay.
Right.
Then he had a sinus infection. Then he was complaining his nose hurt, his nose hurt, his nose hurt, his nose hurt. And I'm like, Bubba, I know it'll get better. Just stop scratching at it. Leave it alone. And then 2 weeks later, he says, I have a ladybug in my nose. Get it out. So I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. You said this 2 weeks ago and you're saying it again? That's beyond child imagination.
Yeah.
So I took him in immediately.
Right.
There was no ladybug.
Oh, shocker.
And the doctor said it's very easy for a child to think when their nose is stuffy and itchy that there's a bug in there. And I'm like, well, thanks for giving me the memo. I missed that one.
Thank you for your medical expertise.
So yeah, can you imagine? And you can't just go in the doctor's office. You have to call, wait in the parking lot. They got to call you in, go back, blah, blah, blah. So when I would call, and then I had to call back for the x-ray results and all that, they're like, oh, you're the ladybug mom. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. I'm the ladybug mom.
Dude, they come in like a wrecking ball too. Like I have 2 girls and my pregnancy, I mean, my pregnancies have always been horrible, but like they were for me good. You know what I mean? The 2 girls. My son came in and was like, I'm here to fuck shit up. Like just destroyed me as a human.
I knew he was a boy as soon as I got pregnant with him. I knew.
I did too.
I knew he was a boy.
You felt it. You felt that testosterone.
It was different than every pregnancy I've ever had. I've had 5 pregnancies. I've lost. Well, it was exactly like my first pregnancy. So my first pregnancy was a boy. I lost at 15.
I'm sorry.
And yeah, 6 months pregnant, early labor. Didn't even know I was in labor because I was 15. Lost the baby. Anyways, then I had a girl, and she lived with her dad in Texas. And then I have my daughter, and then I lost a baby, miscarriage, and then I had my son.
Mm-hmm.
And him and the first one exactly the same. I knew. I was like, this is a boy. The boy.
I had boys hit you different, and it's crazy to me that like your body can do that. That your body.
He put my dick in the dirt. He put my dick in the dirt. Yeah, he did. It was.
And like I'm his bitch. I am. I can't even deny it. I can't lie and be like, nah, I got this. No, I don't got this.
I love my daughters. But there is something about a mother and a son he literally talks to me so bad, and I just turn around and look at him, and I just go. My daughter talks to me like that. Like my oldest daughter talks to me like that. I'm like, do something. You know what I mean? It's about to be a girl fight, you know? Like we're going back and forth. But like with my son, I'm like, I'm your mother. I'm your mom. Don't talk to me like that.
But then at the same time, like we kind of joke with him, and I call him Norman a lot because like I feel like sometimes he loves me a little bit too much. And I'm like, all right, Norman Bates, like we're gonna need you to take it down a notch. Like we don't want some mommy issues coming up here, but yeah.
Stay-at-home mom with him, and he goes everywhere with me. He does everything with me. He loves to clean with me. He loves to do things with me. Loves to go shopping, grocery shopping, everything. But right now he's in that lovey stage where we'll just be walking and spontaneously all throughout the day. I love you, Mom.
My son tells me he loves me like 75 times a day.
Yes, and he does it to everybody. He does it to his grandma. He does it to his dad. He does it to everybody.
Just like out of nowhere.
But then he turns, and he's a Sour Patch Kid. That's what he is. He's super sweet, and then he's over there tearing up your pillows and tearing the stuffing out of your pillows on the couch because it looks like Christmas, Mom.
Why do I gotta wear someone's reading glasses? I have reading glasses.
Why would you wear someone else's? That's not going to help you read.
I think someone wants to see me in glasses. I mean, I can do that for you. I take requests.
I take requests. Simple requests.
Simple ones. So what else should we? Like, I feel like we're also like we're in a weird place right now with like podcasts too, because like there's certain things that I feel like people come in to talk about that like, and I don't want to go there, but like I also feel like I do want to just on it fully. So I just want to make sure like you holding up okay, like you doing okay with all the, and we like I don't want to like we're not doing names and talking about people, but like seeing a lot of people right now online that like mentally like it's just really difficult, and there's a lot of like really bad toxic that you've had.
You mean like based on everything that's going on, like overall, how am I dealing with it?
Oh yeah, because like you've taken like you had some really horrific things that were done and said like not that long ago, and it was really bad. And like,
to be honest with you, it has no effect on like how I go about my day, like with my kids. Like I'm not like walking around like all day long. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it does bother me, but I'm able to say I can put this down and go about my day and take care of my business and do all the things that I need to do. But it's still in the back of my mind. And every time I open the app, I'm like, oh God, what am I going to see next? So I've obviously taken a step back. I had already started kind of taking a step back like a while ago. And kind of only speak when I feel like I need to or have something to say.
But like,
But I mean, I'm doing okay with it. Like, honestly, yes, I did bring attention to the comments and the videos that were made to me, but that's because I wanted to show that people on the right are doing this to me simply because I agreed that conversation should be made. I have not made a ton of videos. I have not, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't really been involved, but I'm open to having conversations. And if that alone is reason enough for someone to call Child Protective Services on me or dox me or find me, okay. So, like, I bring awareness to it, but I don't want people to think like, oh, she's playing victim and she's so scared. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not, because I wish somebody would. I really, really do. I wish you would.
Brittany made Three Boys, One Mom. Like, she made a really good video yesterday because people do things just to freak people out, and this is like a tactic that
they do it to get a reaction out of somebody. Like they do, and
I've been on the app for 2 years. No one, like, you know what I mean?
This is the first time it's gotten this far for me. This is the first. Like, I've gotten hate comments. I've gotten like, oh, you shouldn't have children. I feel sorry for your children, and people bringing my kid up into it. But I've never had someone like threaten to call Child Protective Services. Like, for what? Like, what would you even say?
Right.
Like send them. It's a waste. It's a waste of resources because they would be like, this is a joke, right? Like, seriously. I'd be like, do you want to film a TikTok with me? Like, this is a joke, right?
I don't know. I don't want it to like ruin social media for people either. You know what I mean? Like,
it has, but like,
I'm like a huge fan of your content. Like, your content is freaking hilarious. Making your video is like the funniest thing that I did this week. I didn't know what freaking clips to take. So it's like you also put out so much positivity and laughs, and you want people to laugh and just.
I try to make light of the situation and poke fun at it, but the thing is you can't always. And I've had to try to understand this is you can't always poke fun at some people because some people can't laugh at themselves.
No,
they can't. And so I have to learn the people. I guess learn my audience and be like, okay, this person's not going to think this is funny. They're going to think it's mean, so maybe I shouldn't post it. But then there's going to be times where like I don't give a fuck. And I'm going to post it anyways because it's fucking funny. But, you know, there are certain situations and certain topics where it's not funny. It's not funny. And people think, oh, well, it's dark humor. It's dark humor. You can't just throw a dark humor slab on something because, oh, it's inappropriate, but I think it's funny.
Right.
You know, like some of the recent events we've seen. Those aren't jokes.
Still, those are like on Instagram and stuff like that, right? Like, even if you left the talk, I
would still be on social media because I am like I seem very social. Like I seem very social, but I am very much an introvert.
Yeah. Like
being social on an app is different because I can turn it off and do my own thing. But I love being on social media, and so plus I'm a loudmouth and I got a lot to say, so. Kind of hard to shut me out.
And we all hear what you have to say.
Well, people have been trying to shut me up my entire life. They're like, you shouldn't say that. Don't say that. Okay. You know what I mean? Like that's just how I am. But I know when to bite my tongue. I've learned when to bite my tongue.
Yes.
But sometimes I choose not to.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes
that's my choice. That's my choice, but I hold accountability for that, and that's the difference. Is when I choose not to bite my tongue, when I know that I should, best believe there's accountability right there on the tail end of it. It's coming right there. It's right there. I will. Will I apologize? Probably not, but I'll take accountability for it. Accountability doesn't mean an apology.
No.
It just means acknowledgement of what you did.
Whether it was wrong or right. Doesn't have to look pretty. Like, there's just this weird thing on like apologies and forgiveness and how there's standards for apologies and there's standards for forgiveness. And it's like, no.
Or there has to be like an immediate resolution where they're either friends or foes. Like, it's not always like that. Sometimes people just shout from the rooftop and shout from hey, what's your name? What's your name? Screw you. Okay, that's it. There doesn't need to be a fucking the end. No. They lived happily ever after, or they were villains and foes for life. You know, like it doesn't have to be that way.
It's very like extreme. Yeah. I just feel like a lot. I mean, we were talking about it last night with we had Tearing It Up on Freedom Fam last night, and she's a left creator that was slammed on the right side of TikTok. So for me, it was like,
I made videos about her.
So did I. For her to come on the podcast, it floored me that she was like, no, fuck this. I want to do this. Like, I like what you guys are doing. Screw the fact that like I've been ridiculed all over that side of TikTok. Like
we've all done it. We have all made videos. We haven't all doxed. We haven't all looked at people's information. We haven't all got people's social security numbers. We haven't all joined Discord, okay? But we have all made videos poking fun, not slandering, but like spreading people's business around. Like we've all done it. And you know, people need to take accountability for that. But the thing about it is not everybody has gone so far as doxing. But at what point does it change? Right. Are we just going to keep doing this forever? Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? Mm-hmm. So if we keep going back and forth, my points are better than yours. I'm right, you're left. I'm right, you're left. Yeah. Where have we gotten in 2 years?
No,
we have gotten to the point of swatting, doxing, Discord group, hate groups, unalive group. This is where we've gotten. So are we going to keep continuing doing the same thing, thinking that we're going to get different results? No, we need to do something now. So if something now is just saying, hey, can we just like talk about shit before we go and just ruin someone's life?
Right.
Like, can we have some, you know, Discord, you know, like civil discussion, like.
It's like, because all you're doing is you're just, and it's because it's political content. It is like, it's very divisive content to begin with.
Right. But how do you think Congress and like all of them, how do you think that they get to a resolution, whether we agree with them or not? Okay. I'm just saying like in a nutshell, how do you think that they come to, yes, there's voting, but you don't think that they have discussion?
Right.
You don't think that they talk to each other? You don't think that they argue with each other?
We watch them do it.
The world leaders do it. The world leaders do it. Talk show hosts do it. Freaking executives do it in board meetings. Like everybody talks to people that they don't agree with when there is a common goal to be achieved. And if you cannot handle that, sit down at the kids' table because I can put my differences aside and say, regardless of what I think and regardless of what you think, this is what's happening in our TikTok community, and it's no longer safe for anyone. So if we are all going to take responsibility as creators, let us fucking do that and shut up.
Right.
Or help.
Like,
or help. And if you don't want to be a part of it, fine. But I don't need your opinion on it. Like, you can have an opinion and voice your opinion, but I don't need you to come to me with it.
Right.
Because you already know where I stand. So what are you wanting to gain from shoving your opinion at me?
And it's not like with some people, it's either you can meet in the middle or they present it like, yeah, we're going to meet in the middle. But really all it is let me convince you to think just like me. And I hate
that's not what meeting in the middle is. That's not what meeting in the middle and finding common ground does not mean aligning.
Right.
Okay. Right. Wars don't end on the battlefield. They end where?
In discussions.
Where? Oh, okay. I didn't know if anybody else knew that because you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do. And like that's all that like I want to do with it now. Like I'm trying to stay away from like I still feel the way that I feel about my political beliefs.
Of course.
But like how can I present them in a way that's less divisive? How can I present them in a way
talk about small issues? How can you talk about big ones?
That. If
I can't talk to my neighbor about keeping her damn cats out of my rose bushes.
Right.
How can I speak to somebody that has an extreme opposing political opinion?
Yep.
How are we going to find common ground on the issues that go on in our country if I can't even talk to my neighbor about her damn cats?
Right. But we just
everybody's wanting to run, but nobody's wanting to keep the baby stuff.
People want to stay in echo chambers because they're comfortable. Like when we all, you know, when you're in a group of people and everyone agrees and everybody thinks the same. I'm not saying that that's not like a reassuring feeling. It feels nice. It's calm. It's not argumentative. Like, okay, cool. But Like, how are you even growing as like a human being, right? So like, for example, when I was able, like I was making Taryn's video. So I'm going through her content and I'm like, man, I didn't even know this. I didn't even know this about that girl. Like, she's such an involved mom. Like, just from the content that I saw, like, that's a good mom. She's a good mom. And her heart for like the homeless community, like that's where her whole ass heart is. And she's very cracked on it. And she says that it's political, but like when you really listen to her talk, like it's not. And she knows that. Like it's just high up people and that the money's not going where it needs to go. And the right and the left are constantly fighting and they don't really want to fix any problems.
But her motivations aren't
fighting.
Her motivations for doing it. Yeah. Her motivations for doing it aren't political. There is politics involved in everything, but your motivations don't always have to be political because I do a lot of the same stuff she does. Mm-hmm. But I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum. So what does that tell you?
Right.
A lot of the stuff I do, and that's what, like, I know I'm sitting down at 12:30 on a Friday, like not doing anything, talking to you. And I know a lot of people think that I just like sit at home and make TikToks all day, but like I do actually do things in my community for my community because I feel like right now I'm not able to give as much as I want to and as much time as I want to because I have children that are dependent upon me, especially one with special needs.
Yeah.
So I do what I can with the time that I have. So whether that's donating, volunteering time, offering space, providing information, even offering my phone number for people that need help with specific things. And I don't talk about these things.
I was talking to Tex, and I was like, you know what would be awesome is like one more big TikTok meetup. But not the way that everybody thinks. Like, what if we all actually found something that we agreed on, whether it was like cleaning up an area or going into to help out with homeless, like find a mission statement that everybody can agree on and go in like bipartisan, like totally.
Well, and there's something that you could do with that. Yeah, well, there's something that you could do with that where it doesn't even have to be a meetup where everybody has to go and meet up in one space. It could just be something that collectively everybody on TikTok does together.
Yeah.
For everybody in their state, like a giant charity for a certain thing where we all contribute to it, we all offer it, we all promote it, we all do it. Like TikTok has the ability to do so much to cause so many amazing things to happen. And in order for us to get there, we have to get through all of the bullshit.
Yeah.
And we can't get through the bullshit if we don't sit down and have discussions about it. And if people can't do that, then it's just going to continue. I don't see how that makes us bad.
No.
I don't.
No,
I get that, and that's why I've stepped away because I'm like, if you're going to try to make me out to be a bad person for doing the right thing, then I'm not going to associate with any of this, and I'm just going to start doing it on the outside. Yeah. Because that's why I don't post things about what I do outside of TikTok. Nobody knows what I do outside of TikTok because I don't post about it because I don't want people in my business when it comes to that. Like, I don't need people trying to interfere with the groups that I volunteer with or the things I do charity with. I don't need that because I've seen what TikTok does to people when they share that information. So now I can't bring awareness to the things that I'm helping because people will maliciously use that and try to mess it up, and trying to hurt me, but not really hurting me, hurting other people. And so I keep all that stuff off the app. So if people are going to give me crap for aligning and talking to leftists, then I'm not going to do it on the app anymore.
Right.
I'm going to go do it in my city, in my town, in my community. And you know what? When I'm doing it that way, face to face, it grows a lot faster. So
it does.
Thank you for the motivation because word of mouth goes a lot faster than anything else. Mm-hmm. So.
Yep. Every single kick down, every single setback, every single shitty comment, shitty video, whatever it is. Yeah. To me now, I'm like, y'all are just making me mad. And when I get mad, I put my anger towards something. Like I didn't used to do this. Like after that big dramatic situation that I had going on over on TikTok for a while, like my immediate response has always been like match energy, right? And then like I took a step back and was like, why do I feel the need to do that though? Like what's going on with me
why do I need to match their energy when I can just say you don't deserve the energy? So I'm going to take my energy back and I'm going to put it where it's supposed to be. And that's what I do.
And it's going to be somewhere positive this time because you're not going to listen to me. Me and you can argue back and forth on the internet all day long, but it's not going to make an impact. It's not making a big change. All it's doing is just keeping arguing going. Like I pretty much just stayed focused on like one, yeah. Because I thought that needed attention. Those girls' stories deserve to be told. And I'm big on, if a girl wants to tell her story, you shut the fuck up and you listen to her.
And if you don't shut up, there's gonna be people that are gonna speak louder than you, that will distract you so that those people can't speak.
Yes.
And that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. And that's being done. I mean, people, that's how any group of people works. It's just like, what is your end intention? You know, like, is your end intention still what you always said that it was to put more good out than bad? So if you're going to be putting bad out, that's fine. We all do it. We all put our petty out there. We all put our drama out there, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't grab that and be like, okay, this is really bad. This is getting ugly. How can I flip it? How can I flip it? And with this last one for me, it was, I'm going to start engaging more with people that don't agree with me politically. I'm going to stop being blinded by my politics. I'm going to open up my eyes, open up my mind, and listen, like really listen to them, even if I don't agree.
Yeah. Well, we keep telling the left, it's about we the people. That's why we're fighting. We're fighting for your rights and ours. It's about we the people.
It's not going to talk to you and tell you that you're garbage.
But I don't want to talk.
Right. Right.
Let me help you, but I don't want to hear your voice. Like, how are we supposed to be we the people if you can't even speak to them?
Mm-hmm.
Like, regardless of what they've done, yes. But are you just gonna be like, oh, that guy, he did this and he did that. Okay.
Everyone's done
So maybe that's the guy you should talk to make a difference. You're gonna just go talk to some random guy that has like no effect at all. No, you're gonna go and you're gonna speak to somebody that knows their shit, that's way up here, that can actually help make this change. Like, I don't understand what people don't get about it. It's not a bad thing, but
it's not. But it's different though. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. It's scary. It's outside the box. It's, and to some people, it's going against what we've said. But I also think that all of us have been guilty of being extremely divisive, whether it be
my son's
that little like aura burst that you just had going on there. You were like a little fairy for a minute.
My son's playing with the ring light. Thanks, bud. You're the best.
Oh, God.
You the best.
And we're not going to stop being divisive because it's just kind of in human nature. But like, if you can be more mindful of it when you're putting it out there and try to make it less divisive, like I have a hard time. I'm not even talking about politics on TikTok right now, and I won't. I'm not going to. Like, when I feel like talking about politics again, I'll do it on my Instagram. Do I feel like talking about politics right now? Absolutely not, because we can't even clean the shit out of our own backyard, let alone be worried about a whole nother country with a whole bunch more people and all of these people and all of these people. Y'all can't even pick the dog shit up out of your front yard. What the hell do you think you're going to do?
Yeah.
So, like,
well, that's why I've kind of stopped arguing politics. Like, I won't stop talking about politics. Like, if I see an article, if I come across something and like I want to talk and give an opinion on it, like I will, but I'm not going to do the back and forth anymore.
No.
If you want to leave in a comment with opposing, like, that's cool. That's cool. People will see it. People will read it. It's cool. I'm not going to respond to you, and I'm not going to keep going back and forth with you because I already know where this is going to go. Your side's right, my side's wrong, yada, 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 racist, yada, 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 white supremacist, yada, yada, yada. I'm not doing that anymore. I've done that rat race. I did it for 2 years. I'm not doing it anymore. So when I post things, I'm not going to do back and forth. Now, when I post things and people want to have a discussion and they're like, hey, listen, I read an article that says this. You should check it out. Okay, I'm going to go read that article. And then we're going to talk about it. That I can do. But once there's a certain line that gets crossed, I'm done.
Well, like Mother Runner came on one of our lives and she was talking about the Don't Say Gay bill. And I've only heard about it from the right. And not really from the left. And then she had some concerns about it. And I was like, all right, well, hey, let me pull it up. And I did. I pulled it up. Now I have read it from beginning to end. But at the time, we were live. So I'm just kind of going through certain sections. I'm like, well, what's your biggest worry about it? And she's like, this section. So I'm going to this section. And a lot of people can disagree with it. But she's right. The way that they did the wording in it, it's the way that it's written, would essentially give the teacher control of if a child went to school and was talking about their same gendered parents, that the
Yeah.
teacher could put an end to it underneath that. It would fall in that. There's like a loophole.
Right. I remember hearing that part. Yeah.
So, but for me, like the rest of the bill, I think is okay. But there are parts in it, and that's the problem, is that they write these bills and they're like, oh, it's for this and it's going to be great. It's got rainbows and butterflies in it and Build Back Better.
It's a headline. It's a headline. It's a selling point. It's a bullet point. They don't ever give you the nitty-gritty details. They give you a bill this big, and then they say, here's the bullet point. Have you ever been, whenever you go to an emergency room or anything, or you're signing papers, and they hand you a paper to sign, how many times has the person that's handing you the paper said, and this one right here basically just says yada, 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 yada.
Almost every single time.
Exactly. The exact same thing with the bill. This bill basically is going to this, that, the other, and the other. But it's going to yeah. Ignore this on this.
Well, like, not to talk smack on Daddy DeSantis, but like he had a bill that was going to allow like forced vaccinations, but y'all are against that. But he's like a savior. Like, read the damn bills and stop making like celebrities. Read the bill. Stop trusting people just because they're on TV. Read it from beginning to freaking end, or just sit down and shut up.
Well, it's just like a movie preview. They're going to show you all the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got to watch it. Then you got to watch it to get the whole story. But nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. We want someone else to spoon feed us.
Mm-hmm.
Just spoon feed it to me. Just give me the details. And you want to know the proof of that? You want to know the proof of that? How many people in your comment section, when there's something going on, go, oh, can someone tag me so I know what's going on? Or can someone just fill me in? No. Go look. Follow the comments. Follow. Go to the person's page. Go look. Go look at their videos. Go look. People don't want to do that. They'd rather someone else spoon feed it to them. And we have become comfortable as a society with that, and that is a shame.
It's a damn shame, because there's nothing that you can do. You had to work on that first. Like, I want all the big things that everybody wants. I want all the big things, but it's going to take us a really long time to get to those big things. And people have these like false illusions that like, oh no, it's fine. Like, we just got to ride out Joe Biden, and then the next guy's going to come in and he's going to do. Stop waiting for the government to help you. Like,
it's not how it works. That's not how our system was built. And that's the thing, is all these people are like, I'm a constitutionalist. I'm a this, I'm a whatever. What we got to do is we got to get these guys in there. Okay, and these guys are going to do better than the other guys. No, they are. They're going to do better. Trust me. Watch.
Yep.
Come on. Are you kidding me? You guys can't even pick the right people to follow on TikTok. Okay. All right. Simmer down. You don't even know. You know what I mean? You don't even look at the people you're following on TikTok.
Right.
But you want me to trust that the political official you're choosing is good. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No, people need to realize our government, our founding fathers, and our Constitution was not built for our government to be the way it is right now. It wasn't even supposed to have a two-party system.
No,
all this back and forth isn't even supposed to be happening right now. That's why nothing is getting fixed. We have to crumble the two-party system. It has to become the people and the government, and that's it.
Well, like last night we were talking about how it used to be where like whoever got president, whoever was second runner-up opposite, that would be VP. And you would have like a Republican and a Democrat together. President, vice president, and you have to work together. And I don't see the problem in that. I don't. And I mean, I've never seen it in my lifetime. Why don't we try it again? Can we try it again? Like, let's just see what happens. Like, let's just unplug America and plug it back in.
Well, the thing about it is everybody says, oh, well, our government is for the people. It's for the people, but it's not. It's dividing the people. So if the government is for the people, maybe, just maybe, we need to integrate the parties a little bit more and have people working together collectively for the people. Because when they're fighting against each other, we are fighting against each other. And that's not how this is supposed to work. We literally elect these people to be our voices. And half of the shit they're saying, we don't even know what the heck it is.
I don't even know.
They're just possibility. We didn't ask for it. Like, what the heck? Nobody asked for that. Who asked for that bill? Nobody asked you for that. It's like that one girl that goes, People have been asking me how I do my lashes. No, they didn't.
No,
They didn't. Nobody did. Nobody did.
I know
Shut
exactly what you're talking about. I've seen.
That's what politicians do. We're going to write a bill, and it's going to be good for the people. Really? How many of the people have you talked to lately? Oh, I don't know. I had mimosas at brunch this morning. I've been very busy.
But girl, the more that I talk to like people from, we all want the same thing. We do. We all want the same thing.
We all want to leave this country better than the way we found it for our children. That is the same answer I hear from everyone. And if we have that, we have common ground. So I don't care what anybody on the app says. Anybody on the app says, I don't agree with Danette. I don't agree with this person. I don't. Really? Because we can all agree that we need to save the children. Common ground. Oh, look at that. Aw, friends. How about that?
There are things outside of that we can come together on to at least make it's humanizing each other. It's rehumanizing because both sides have done this. Both sides have dehumanized the other side to where they're not seeing people anymore. They're not seeing people anymore. We're just seeing politics, and that's it.
They don't even listen to people's videos. They just go look at their bio and go, "Whoop! It says patriot. He's a racist."
Or it's got the fist. I'm out. Like,
and that's ridiculous.
Funny to me, like to see people follow me. I'm like, all these Ukrainian flags and fists are following me now. Like, what did I do? What did I do?
You know what you do? You go and you watch their content and you see if you like their stuff and you see if you have any common ground. People are so prone to look at a person and say, this is the first thing people do. And anybody that says that they don't do this is so bullshit. The first thing anybody does when they look at someone, they look for something that they don't like.
Yep.
Their nose is big.
Yep.
She's got split ends. I don't like the way she dyed her hair. No shoes don't match. People, you do this. Everybody does this. We pick people apart. So whenever you see someone's content or someone follows you and you see a fist in their bio or something, you're like, oh God, the shoes don't match. Can't be her friend. No, listen to what they talk about. Instead of looking for something that you don't like about someone, look for something that you do, and you would be surprised at the reaction you get from people. Instead of starting a video with like, I'm about to shut you down fat, son. Why don't you start the video off like, I agreed with this point. That's a really good point, and I can stand with you on that. But what I don't like is this. Let's talk about it. Like, it's not that hard to do that, but everybody wants to be the hard ass in a video. Everybody wants to be the one in their camera. Oh, I'm fucking hard. Like, no. Nobody cares about the gimmick. They don't. People want to hear what you talk about. And the thing about it is people see the gimmicks and they like it and they support it. But then the more they start talking in live, the more you really see how these people really are. Because I can tell you this, the things I've seen lately, my soon-to-be husband would never let me be even in the same room as someone like that.
And I'm glad that you said that because, I tried to make a video this morning responding to the situation from last night. And I'll get it out there when I feel like getting it out there, if I even do. But there's one thing that I think that, especially since we're on, there's mostly girls in here. It's mostly women based. No matter what you've done, no matter who you are, there are good men. There are very good men that will never call your name, that would never talk about women like that, that would never do that.
But don't get me wrong. Wait, don't get it twisted. They will say some shit. They will be a smart ass, and they'll be an asshole, and they'll be a dick, and they'll hurt your feelings. But there's a difference between a man that makes fun of the fact that you're short and a man that says the things that were said in that live. Yeah. There's a big difference.
There's a huge difference. And you're worth it. You really are. You really, really are, regardless of how you feel about yourself or what other people have told you. You deserve that genuine love from a guy that you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Because for the longest time, I didn't think that I was until I met my husband. Yeah. I just was like, nah, man, I'm a trash girl. That's what a street rat. Like, I mean, I've done some sketch shit. I've got a real sketch pass because I thought that that's all that I was worth.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, bish, you better figure out what you're worth and double that shit to make up for that chunk of time that you were just out there selling yourself short.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, though, we're also in this really toxic area where like we're demasculating men and we're doing certain things where it's like not okay to be like a guy's guy. But then,
well, and that's the problem with society when you start demasculating. I can't even say it right. Demasculating your men. What do you think is going to happen?
They're going to replace it with being toxic like that. Like they're either
they're going to be hurt. So they are going to hurt because hurt people hurt people. So if you're demasculating a man, what do you think he's going to do to you?
Right.
Like that, you know what I mean? Like, and when we do this in our society, we have created this very toxic relationship between men and women. Like it used to be men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We're two different people, but we rely on each other.
Right.
You know, I don't need you and I don't need you. Therefore, we are enemies.
Yeah.
But that's not what we were created for. I'm sorry. That's not what we were created for. This was a companionship since the beginning of time. Doesn't matter what religion you believe in. The bond between two lovers, two species is since the beginning of time. And the fact that our society has completely ripped that and destroyed that bond, you see the ripple effect it's caused in children, in homes, in our society, and everything.
That's where it's at. With more than any man can possibly give me right now. No need to waste my time. And that's like everybody needs to have that mindset. But we are also at the 1 hour mark. I love your face, and I love that you came on. We're going to have you on again. I'm working on an episode, trying to get like 3 or 4 girls together to do like a table talk, like a...
Ooh, can we do a slumber party?
Like a Friday afternoon brunch in our jammies?
Yeah, with mud mask, curlers.
And we'll just girl talk it out for the whole hour. I'm going to try to get spiritual warfare. Like she's taken a little bit of a minute, and that's okay. And we're all here for her, and we all love her. Talk to her today.
Hey, I've been around. I've been there, so I know where she's at. So.
We've all been there. It freaking sucks. It sucks, but we just gotta be there for each other when it happens. And like me and Barty were saying that, like we all should be like, I'm trying to actively reach out more than what I would before. Just kind of like, you doing all right? Like, how's it going?
A lot of people have, and I love it. I love it. I just said something about this last night. I have gotten so many messages from people just saying, hey, I just wanted to check in with you and see how you were doing and make sure that you were okay. And I think that people need to do that more often because you never know when someone might say, you know what? No, I'm not. No, you know what? I'm not. Right. Because a lot of times I get like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. No big deal. But there is always that one that you didn't know was there. And so I think that it's really important that we keep doing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love your face. I love all of your faces. Let's see. We'll just do my intro, I guess. We'll go out. We'll just go on my intro. Love you guys, and we will see you next week. Okay.